complementary and supplementary angles. We're going to talk about two more kinds of angles today. Grab your note packet, open to this lesson. If you don't have a note packet in your learning log, put the title, Complementary and Supplementary Angles, and get the learning target. I can identify complementary and supplementary angles and find missing angle measures. All right, so complementary angles. What are complementary angles? Two or more angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So I have a picture here. I have a picture of a 90-degree angle. And I know it's a 90-degree angle because it has that box in the corner there. All right. And what has happened here is something called a ray has bisected that 90-degree angle into two angles. So I'm going to mark each angle with an arc. Angle 1 is right here in green. I'll color that in, that's angle 1. And then angle 2 has two arcs, and that would be your red part here. This is angle 2, okay? So we have two angles, 1 and 2, whose sum, when we add them together, is 90 degrees, because we knew from the beginning that that was a 90-degree angle. So angle 1 plus angle 2 is 90 degrees, okay? To help you remember, complementary is 90. We have a little trick. Complementary starts with C, and so does the word corner. And if you can think about a corner is a 90-degree angle. So complementary corner, those make 90 degrees. Okay, supplementary angles are next. What are supplementary angles? Supplementary angles are two or more angles whose sum is 180. So again, we have that straight line to start. And then again, we have a ray that comes in and bisects that straight angle into two angles. And let's separate those two angles. Angle 1 is our gold right here with the one arc. That's angle 1. And then angle 2 will be our blue. We'll put two arcs for angle 2. And we use different arcs because they are not equal to each other. So we could take angle 1 and add angle 2 to it, and we'll get 180 degrees. Another hint for you here, supplementary starts with S, and so does a straight angle. Straight angle also starts with S, and we know a straight angle is 180. So the S is 180, the C is 90. Okay, now that we have those definitions in place, let's go ahead and find missing angle measures. So I have an angle here. If we go back to our naming conventions, just as like a quick review, I could name this angle in a couple different ways here. I could call this angle CBA. B is the vertex, so it goes in the middle, or ABC, the reverse, or angle B. Right? So I'll refer to it as angle CBA. I'll just use our first name. And then if we were to classify it, we're looking at our two options today. Do you see complementary angles in CBA or supplementary? Well, I see the corner at angle B, so then I know that corner is complementary. So these are complementary angles, which means I have two angles that I'm going to add together to be 90 degrees. All right, so I'm going to take that information, and I can see my two angles. I'm going to mark them with arcs. My first angle is 2x degrees. And then my second angle, I'll put two arcs in here, is 28 degrees. So what I know is that those two angles added together will equal 90 because they're complementary. We now have a two-step equation, so let's solve that two-step. Zero pair your constant of 28. Negative 28 on both sides leaves you with 2x equals 62. Divide by that coefficient of 2, and we get x is equal to 31. Now, we need that 31 so we can find the measure of our first angle, 2x. So our first angle is 2x degrees. We can now find out how big that is by doing 2 times 31. And 2 times 31 is 62. So now let's see if this works. If we put 62 in here, and then we have 28 down there, let's see, is 62 plus 28 going to equal 90? Yes. So our complementary angles are 62 degrees and 28 degrees. They're both acute. One is a little bit bigger than the other. Let's look at another example. All right, this one we cannot name. We do not have any letters about it, so we can't name it, but we are going to start with the classifying. Oop. There we go. We'll do that over here. So would you classify this as complementary or supplementary? You're not going to call it a straight angle. The straight angle, then we wouldn't see the ray and we wouldn't see the two parts. But we will call it supplementary because the two parts will add up to 180 to make that straight angle. And this is what I'm talking about here when I'm talking about that straight angle, this whole thing, right? This whole arc. Okay, but I'm going to erase that because we're going to arc off the two angles, just like we did on the last one, in two different colors. So our first angle is 5x degrees. And our second angle is 35. And remember, that's this portion here, right? And this portion here. These make our angles. Okay, so we have 5x and we have 35. And what supplementary means is if you add those two together, their sum is 180. And we can see that straight angle. Remember, I had outlined it in red. These two together, if we put them together, make this big arc here, okay? All right, so now two-step equation again. Let's do our math. Zero pair the constant. Left with 5x equals 180 minus 35. I'm going to have to do some borrowing. 145. Divide by that coefficient of 5. And we get x is equal to 29. Now that's not the size of our angle, okay? We still have to find the size of our angle. So we're going to take that 29 and put it where x is in the 5x degrees. We're going to do 5 times 29. Might have to do some side math there. 5 times 29 would be 145 degrees. So what we have, if I can go back to my picture again and let me clear it off here. We have 145 degrees is this one. And it does look like an obtuse angle. It's laying back here. If you look at that, it's laying back just the other way. And then we have an acute angle here, 35. And if we add those together, they do equal 180. All right, complementary and supplementary. Let's practice.